Chapter 20. Summer's End, Autumn's Beginning. By the time the limousine reached its destination, a pale indigo dusk had spread over the city. A brisk wind blew between the buildings, bearing tidings of summer's end, rustling the skirts of women on their way home from work. I went to the top of a high rise hotel, entered the spacious bar, and ordered a Heineken. It took 10 minutes for the beer to come. Meanwhile, I planted an elbow on the armrest of my chair, rested my head on my hand, and shut my eyes. Nothing came to mind. With my eyes closed, I could hear hundreds of elves sweeping out my head with their tiny brooms. They kept sweeping and sweeping. It never occurred to any of them to use a dustpan. When the beer finally arrived, I downed it in two gulps. Then I ate the whole dish of peanuts that came along with it. The sweeping had all but stopped. I went over to the telephone booth by the register and tried calling my girlfriend, her with the gorgeous ears. But she wasn't at her place and she wasn't at mine. She'd probably stepped out to eat. She never ate at home. Next, I tried my ex-wife. I reconsidered and hung up after a second ring. I didn't have anything to say to her after all, and I didn't want to come off like a jerk. After them, there was no one to call, smack in the middle of a city with a million people out roaming the streets and no one to talk to. I gave up, pocketed the 10 yen coin, and exited the booth. Then I put in an order with a passing waiter for 2 more Heinekens. And so the day came to an end. I could hardly have spent a more pointless day. The last day of summer, and what good had it been? Outside, a early autumn darkness had come over everything. Strings of tiny yellow street lamps threaded everywhere below. Seen from up here, they looked ready to be trampled on. The beer came. I polished off the one, then dumped the dish of peanuts into the palm of my hand and proceeded to eat them, bit by bit. 4 middle-aged women, finished with swimming lessons at the hotel pool, sat at the next table chatting over colorful tropical cocktails. A waiter stood by, rigidly upright, crooking his neck to yawn. Another waiter explained the menu to a middle-aged American couple. After the peanuts, I moved on to my third Heineken. After it was gone, I didn't know what to do with my hands. I fished the envelope out of the hip pockets of my levis, tore open the seal, and started to count the stack of 10,000 yen notes. It looked more like a deck of cards than a bound packet of new bills. Halfway through, my fingers began to tire. At 96, an elderly waiter came to clear away my empty bottles, asking whether to bring another. I nodded as I continued counting. He seemed totally uninterested in what I was doing. There were 150 bills. I stuck them back into the envelope and shoved it back into my hip pocket just as the new beer came. Again, I ate the whole dish of peanuts, and again, only then did it occur to me that I was hungry. But why was I so hungry? I'd only eaten one slice of fruit cake since morning. I called the waiter, ordered a cheese and cucumber sandwich, hold the chips, double the pickles. Might they have nail clippers? Of course, they did. Hotel bars truly have everything you could ever want. One place even had a French-Japanese dictionary when I needed it. I took my time with this beer. Took a long look at the night scenery. Took my time trimming my nails over the ashtray. I looked back at the scenery. Then I filed my nails, and so on into the night. I'm well on the way to veteran class when it comes to killing time in the city. A built-in ceiling speaker called my name. At first, it didn't sound like my name. Only a few seconds after the announcement was over did it sink in that I'd heard the special characteristics of my name. And only gradually then did it come to me that my name was my name. The waiter brought a cordless transceiver phone over to the table. "There has been a small change in plans," said the voice I knew from somewhere. "The boss's condition has taken a sudden turn for the worse. There is not much time left, I fear, so we are curtailing your time limit." "To how long?" "1 month. We cannot wait any longer. If after 1 month you have not found that ship, you are finished. You will have nowhere to go back to." 1 month, I thought it over. But my head was beyond dealing with concepts of time. 1 month, 2 months, was there any real difference? And who had any idea, any standard of how much time it should take to find one's ship in the first place? "How did you know to find me here?" I asked. "We are on top of most things," said the man. "Except the whereabouts of one's ship," I said. Exactly, said the man. Anyway, get on it. You waste too much time. You should take good account of where you now stand. You have only yourself to blame for driving yourself into that corner. He had a point. I used the first 10,000 yen note out of the envelope to pay the check. Down on the ground, people were still walking about on two legs, but the sight no longer gave me much relief.